Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. When I started this podcast in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women business owners, creatives, and entrepreneurs. In each episode, my guests provide resources, valuable tips, and inspiration. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strength to achieve success on their own terms. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. I am so glad that you could join us today. And I'm going to introduce my guest. Laura Fedock is a Dallas-based stylist, image expert, VIP concierge, and wardrobe consultant behind the Lifestyle by Laura. Since starting Lifestyle by Laura, Laura has styled celebrities, business executives, professional athletes, and most recently, multiple college athletes after the changes to the NCAA's NIL policy. So welcome to the show, Laura.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So this is really a very interesting topic. This is something that people always wonder about, what goes on behind the scenes with styling and all that kind of thing. So I think this is really going to be a very informative show for everyone. So can you share how you got started in this business and how did you build it?
Absolutely. So, the long and short of this is at 3 years old, I had a very strong opinion about what I would and would not wear. The quick story of that is I grew up in Kingwood, Texas, which is just north of Houston. And there was a boutique there called Apple Tree Kids. And my mom brought home an outfit there. Every outfit had a matching bow or headband. She brought home this outfit and my words were, "That's ugly. I'm not wearing that." And my mom was like, "Why? What do you mean?" So her response was firm, but kind of comical. "Okay, well, I'll take you shopping with me and you can pick it out." So little had she known that I'd be making a career out of this, it probably would have made it easier that I had such a strong opinion about it then. I would say in high school, I was actually bullied, so I didn't really stand out too much then. I was more about fitting in and wearing what was trendy. In college, I started to find my voice, and I believe that was when people started to feel a little bit influenced by the decisions that I made and the way things I would pair together. But it wasn't until a little over 12 years ago when I moved to Dallas from Houston, and I got my start at Nordstrom NorthPark here in Dallas as the original stylist, base, and designer. So I worked there for 4 years, 100% commission. Nobody ever knew I was commission based except for my parents. And I just really just went into it just 100%. Always been about embracing what is. And I loved every second. But I knew that I would outgrow the four walls of Nordstrom. And so now here I am with my own business, still styling, still doing VIP concierge, closets, wardrobes, all of that on my own with Lifestyle by Laura.
Wow, that's great. That's a great beginning.
Thank you.
Like you knew where you were heading at some point. So this is like the ideal for you. So how did you begin to start building your clientele and your brand partnerships? Because that's something I would think is, has to be a bit of a challenge when you're starting out.
Do you want to hear a funny story about this? I can tell you a
Sure.
funny story. So I quit working at Nordstrom in February. And I felt like I lived there. I do believe for anybody that works in retail or wants to work in fashion, I got ahead of myself, wants to work in fashion, you need to work in retail. You need to understand what it's like to be on the other side, to be commission based and to still be so honest and transparent, even if ultimately that means a little bit less money for you, but you're building the relationship. So I quit at Nordstrom. I decided I wasn't going to go into management, and I honestly thought I was going to go work in marketing. That's what one of my degrees is in. So we were out in the English countryside right before Wimbledon. I was on a trip with my parents, And the Nordstrom anniversary sale was starting. That starts every summer. So upon leaving, I introduced all of my clients. I had about 250 very good clients, families that I helped there. And I said, hey, this is who I think would be a good fit for you. This is who will work with you. And while I'm out in the English countryside with sheep, we're out at Avebury, which is kind of like Stonehenge. Okay. I'm dodging steaming piles of sheep, you know what, and I have clients sending me their Nordstrom anniversary sale list. I'm like, well, wait, hold on. I don't work there anymore. Remember, I gave you this girl's name or this guy's name. They're going to take care of you. And they said, we don't care. They're not you. What is it going to take for you to help us? And so at first it wasn't good. I really, really had to develop an infrastructure, work with a marketing company, really work with attorneys and every single thing to make sure that this wasn't just a hobby. And so now, many, many years later, my brand partnerships, really, it's a natural extension of all my hard work. I love what I do so much, and I genuinely care about my clients. So between the larger retailers like a Nordstrom, who I'm still working with just now as an independent stylist, to some of the luxury retailers, I'm an affiliate with them. But my clients love the brands just as much as I do. And it's so much fun between charity fashion events and just doing different things in the community. The partnerships mean so much to me. And I will always be honest, just like that girl that worked at Nordstrom, if somebody came in there and they could afford a $2,000 dress, but the $20 dress was just as good, I told them that. And so now working with these partnerships, I'm still the same way. I'm just now no longer in the four walls of a retailer. Now I'm able to go Target or Hermes, whatever my client needs.
That's great.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
It is. It's a lot of variety, and people know that you're recommending things to them that are really the best things, as opposed to you're not just, looking at a commission, as I think some people would look at it from that perspective, that you're doing it a different way. And obviously,
or being limited by what, every store has different buyers. So being limited by what Nordstrom buys, or a Neiman Marcus or a Saks Fifth Avenue, maybe that's ultimately where the brand partnership started with these larger boutiques, is that I needed to work directly with them to make sure that my clients were getting what was best for them.
And that's important. That's what they like, and why they want to work with you, because they know that you're going to look out for them in that way.
Yes, I'm their advocate.
Right. So what are the important lessons that you've learned along the way in your business?
Well, so I actually took some notes, but I will say, always being honest, always being transparent, but also it's being able to listen and really tap into every client. And when I first meet with them, I ask them, how do you want the world to see you? Fashion is how the world sees you. So we're personally branding them. So whether they're going through, the job interview process, whether they're a widow or a widower and they're looking for love again, whether they're a busy mom and they're just running on empty and they want to finally just do something for themselves and feel beautiful after having 3 or 4 kids, it's really genuinely caring and understanding that relationship and taking it beyond just shopping. Fashion is my in with people, but I literally will help with all aspects of their life.
That sounds great, though, because then people feel that they can build a relationship with you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so important to me. So that's kind of where the VIP concierge comes in. So that's with, very creative gifts, or somebody may have a family member that's in the hospital. I've helped people on hospice. There's so many different ways of helping people. And if I don't personally have the answers, I will make one phone call and I will have a solution. So it's kind of like Olivia Pope. It's like I'm a
it's handled.
It's not necessarily a scandal. We might have a fashion emergency, but I will have a solution. Yeah.
And that's what people need when they're definitely when they're in the public eye. And as far as that, working with the high profile clients and athletes, celebrities, that whole world, how has that changed your business and what you do?
So working with people that are in the public spotlight, I believe and so this is an interesting thing for me because I am so humble, but I do believe that it has helped with brand notoriety, and it does feel really good with my overall confidence to see people out there recognizing and complimenting the hard work and the long hours that goes into styling these clients. Seeing my work on different media outlets, seeing different celebrities share things on social media and some of the behind the scenes. But as far as the interactions with the clients, I think one of the reasons why I can really help so many professional athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, public figures is that just because somebody throws a football on Sunday doesn't mean that they're not a person. They have an outstanding athletic ability. I see through the surface and just really that they're a person, and I help their family, their kids, everything. And I really believe everybody that I help gets that VIP treatment. So there's really no different treatment there, but helping people in this public spotlight definitely does provide more press and more opportunities for my business to be more well known.
Yeah, that seems like that would make sense, because then if they're out there and then they're asked about, I guess a lot of times they're asked about who they've worked with or, who they've styled.
Well, and it is a tricky thing though, because I've been doing this for so long, and a lot of them I'll have an NDA, and some, especially guys, a lot of guys don't want to tell anybody that somebody helps them, and that's completely fine. I'll move in silence. That's fine. Because I really just want them to feel taken care of. I really want, and that's the first thing, is asking for somebody to help them. That can be a big thing for somebody that is extremely talented, like a very top quarterback or running back or guy in the NBA. So I do respect if they want that privacy, but I always do love, they know if it's important to me to get that recognition, that's always something we can discuss. So going forward, all the new celebrities and talent that I'm helping, they're all agreeing to tell people that I style them, because that just seems very, this is a new world for me. I've never even been like, oh, can you tag me? They're like, absolutely. Let me tell everybody that you helped me. So this is new territory for me, and it's very exciting.
Well, we're recording this after the Met Gala happened. And of course, there's always a lot of chatter about what people are seeing, and some people who are into fashion, others who aren't into fashion, who may not even understand what they're seeing and what's going on. But for events like that, from your point of view, as a professional in this business, do we really appreciate how much work goes into preparing?
No.
I didn't even have to finish that.
Well, so it's kind of like when I do somebody's closet. There's so much prep that goes into it. There's a whole style kit. There could be a dress, a gown that was custom made that you go into zipping it up and something breaks. So you have these backup options. You may have, a medical emergency. I mean, I've been very transparent about my mental health struggles. Somebody may be sweating a lot, and all of a sudden they're like, I can't go on the red carpet. We need to wear something else. I am always 5 steps ahead and having more options. A Tide stick goes a long way. If you get makeup on something, there's always going to be little things that'll happen, but I look at them as an opportunity and not a problem. Specifically to the Met Gala, I think the people that watch that, I've had at least 300 messages asking me what Kim Kardashian was wearing. And honestly, I don't know. I'm saying, well, maybe good press, bad press, is any press. And then I've also had some jokes about, is the theme nudity this year? Because there was a lot of not a lot of clothing. And I just feel like fashion really is an expression. It's a way of showing ourselves showing our personality without even having to speak. There are always going to be some beautiful looks, but then we got to realize it's kind of like Lady Gaga at the Grammys, and some of these people really want to make an entrance. And so we may not understand the reasoning behind it, but we still have to respect that fashion is a very high level of self-expression.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think that's something that maybe goes over a lot of the average people's heads, that what they're seeing, sometimes it is just something that you're like, what is that? But other things are referencing maybe styles from the past, and they're very elaborate, and then people may not really get it because that's not something they're used to, but it's making a statement that even maybe the average person has no idea that it's making.
And I also feel like it's so easy. I mean, there's memes. I always laugh at memes. That's one of my love languages. My friends will send me funny memes. We are so quick to be sitting back, whether it be a sporting event, and be like, oh, that was a bad pass. Why didn't he do that? Or we could be sitting back and watching red carpet coverage and be critical. What we're not realizing, just like these public figures that I'm helping, is they are people. And they are in this spotlight and they're getting judged so much. I choose love. I choose to lift these people up with positivity and humor. Because after all, this is not brain surgery. This is fashion. So I think it needs to be fun. It needs to be lighthearted, unless if it's a more serious nature. In general, with these awards galas and different events and stuff, I really think we could do better on a social media, from a social media perspective, of not being the internet trolls are so quick to judge and be negative, because body dysmorphia is a big thing. I have yet to meet one client over 1,000 clients that does not have something about themselves that they're subconscious of, me included. And that has to do with the social media, and it has to do with airbrushing and us comparing ourselves to things that aren't even real.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that a lot of times people look at celebrities or, athletes or people at that level, and they think somehow that they don't feel sting of, someone is coming at them in a certain way because they don't like what they're wearing or like how they present themselves. And they, they don't really stop and think that these are people with feelings.
Exactly.
Themselves out there. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a great point. So, well, that brings me to, how has your business, the styling and fashion, how has all that changed since you got started?
So over the last year, has it been more than a year? It feels like it. I mean, we were talking before this started how it was January, February, March,
right.
April, May, June, July, August. Yeah. I have really been able to utilize a lot of virtual styling tools. So if we're talking in relation to COVID, I have really been able to utilize that because I do help clients all around the country. But really it's just adapting and kind of going with the flow and continuing to grow. I do have an amazing team. I have a great assistant who's actually on the other side of the camera right now. I do have a great team between my PR and marketing company. So continuing to grow. There are some big projects that are in the works, but as far as day-to-day work, it's really just finding ways to adapt and adjust and evolve.
Do you think right now, based on what you're seeing, because I know we're still in a COVID world, more or less, but I mean, as far as fashion goes, do you see it getting more elaborate, or just people just wanting to show out because they just maybe have felt so confined, or, do you see any particular trends on your end that you think will be coming up?
So right now, I'm seeing more than ever. Every single client in the world is, Laura, can I get it in next week? Can you help me tomorrow? Every single person. So I'm in Dallas, so things are definitely more open here. They have been more open here than other parts of the country. Everybody is wanting to live their best life. We are still seeing in all the collections, they will always now have some type of loungewear, some elevated loungewear. And I definitely feel like people are still valuing the experiences, the trips, the quality time, because that is probably the biggest thing that came from the shutdown, is that we all realized that it is nice to be able to slow down, and it is nice to not just be working all day long and being able to spend that quality time with family and friends. For as far as fashion trends, there are a lot that I'm loving coming up for fall. We're seeing some beautiful jewel tones, like some forest green tones that are just very yummy. Leopard and animal print is still here to stay. For me, that's great because I think animal print is a neutral. Like I love animal print. Plaids, I'm actually wearing some plaid right now. And also some beautiful blush tones. Which every single time a brand, whether it be couture or lower label, like you can go into a Forever 21 or an H&M and you'll see them kind of mimicking, the blush tones absolutely sell. Everybody loves that because it allows you to build off of that beautiful dress or those shoes kind of as a blank canvas. Other thing we are seeing is a little bit more of a blousey sleeve. I think a lot of women may shy away from that. I help clients of all sizes. If it's styled correctly and proportionately, a woman does not need to steer away from that. As long as it looks good with the rest of the look, I do believe that that's a beautiful trend. But with that being said, just because something is on trend and just because something's in a magazine, do not adopt that trend if it's not something that you like. And that's where, you can really decide to save or splurge. Go to Zara, try out those trendy sunglasses or try out that jacket that has fringe on it. Try it at a lower price point. And then if you love it, then you can go ahead and invest in it. But there's so many great trends, lots of prints. I think people are really embracing color more now than ever because we just want more positivity. We want more excitement and we want to be just so optimistic about the future. Right.
That's a great point. That's a good point. And I think people will feel more comfortable in those type of styles, as they go out in the world, or even if they're, at home or, on Zoom or whatever that they find that they're on, more often than not. So, with everything that you're doing and you get busy and you've got, lots going on, do you have a team that you can turn to when things may feel tough?
For my support system, my first one is my faith in God. I'm accepting of all religions, all people. I've always turned to that. My family, specifically my parents, are amazing. My closest friends, I always say friends are the family that we choose for ourselves. I also have, as I mentioned, my assistant. I have a great support team, as far as marketing. In Dallas, I work with a company called White Unicorn. I have a PR company. I've gotten to that point to where I'm only one person and I know I have this message and I know I have this brand that I just want to continue evolving, but I can only do so much. So that support system is definitely there. The boutiques, the managers, everybody that I work with is so great. I cannot speak highly enough of them. But yes, I do have a great support system, and I'm very upfront about it. I've always talked about my mental health and always growing there. I have somebody that I talk to that helps me with stress, that actually helps me process. My brother passed away 17 years ago, and just being human. I think we always need to have those people that are going to be in our corner that can help lift us up.
So what does inspire you when you're having those difficult times?
I think about my brother. And I know he is with me. I know that he is so proud of me, and I'm honestly living this life for the both of us. And I know that he would give anything to be here today to live his life. And I know that I'm making him proud. And without getting all sappy, I just feel like having that faith and staying so positive and coming from a place of gratitude. Every single day I will wake up and I can say, Thank you. I'm so grateful for another day. And even if the traffic is horrible or something unfortunate happens or something stressful happens, I will still find time to laugh. I feel like laughing and retail therapy are the best therapies, because ultimately we have to be able to enjoy this life. We only have this one life to live. And I know that my brother was always extremely lighthearted and very funny and never complained. So I do feel like it's all a matter of perspective and how we want to look at things. And there is a positive in every single thing. Even if a business deal or a project doesn't work out, I look at it like, okay, well, what is meant for me will always be there. What is meant to work out will always be.
Right. That's a great way to look at it as we go through the ups and downs of real life. So could you share where listeners can find out more about you and where they can find your links and things?
Absolutely. So my website is life-style-by-Laura.com. My Instagram seems to be one of the easiest ones that most people seem to follow along. It's Lifestyle by Laura, all one word. I find that the feedback there seems to be really good because people can watch my story, which kind of takes them behind the scenes, and you can see the humor and the inspiration and music and fashion. And so that's where I really am able to showcase my personality. I'm also on Twitter and some other platforms, but really, Instagram and my webpage would be the best.
Great. Yeah, those would be wonderful places for people to really get a look at what's going on with your business. So what is coming up for your company?
So this is very exciting. I'm going to be continuing to grow and partner with even more luxury brands. And also there are some brand collaborations, ideally capsule collections that I will work with different established brands. So maybe 2 years from now, there may be a collaboration where I work with a brand and I'm kind of involved with picking out the fabrics and the design and knowing what people love. But I will leave the design work and everything that goes into that logistically for the experts. I'm not really ready for my own full brand, so to speak. So more brand collaborations. More charity events. I really feel strongly about that. Doing fashion and charity together seems to be an amazing combination. In October, I'm receiving the You Can Live Again award, the fashion award here in Dallas. So I have that coming up. Continuing to work with these NIL athletes. I have a lot of athletes that I'm helping right now. It's very fun. As far as I know, all the research I've done, I'm the only stylist in the country that is doing this. I'm really wanting to help these young men, and the platform that I'm using, and not only my brand sponsoring them, but the brands that I'm working with, we are able to hand select young men who are not only great on the basketball court or on the football field, but they are amazing young role models for our youth, for this world. And then also, some big celebrities that I'll be styling coming up. I can't say their names yet. One of them does have a great voice, and some other public figures, but another thing it's going to take some time, but a book deal in the very near future.
Great. Wow, that sounds fantastic. You've got a very full.
Hence the reason why I've helped, right?
You've got a full calendar there coming up.
I feel like, when you love what you do and things fall into place, I just got to keep going with the flow. Now that work-life balance, I do a very good job of that now. I haven't always. Just like I book out a client appointment, I book out time for myself. I book out time to go on a date or to spend time with my family and friends. And that's so important. Otherwise, I mean, just like you with this podcast, you can get so wrapped up in it that it doesn't feel like work, but it is. And then you're like, wait, I mean, yes, I'm a stylist, but that's not my name. My name is Laura. So I try to not just identify myself as this girl that works in fashion, and just make sure I can take a step back and be me as well.
So that's very interesting as far as working with the student athletes. And, I guess you are using different inspirations when you're dealing with those athletes than you're dealing with professional athletes, or then you're dealing with celebrities. I
Yes.
would think
Yeah.
you've got to go through all these different levels of what each group and each
Oh,
person.
girl, if you knew, sometimes I feel like I'm herding cats because they're still kids, right? Um, so not only that, so I have broadcast journalism and then an advertising background. So I'm having to teach them like, well, did you buy a web page with your first and last name? Oh, wait, I need to do that. I'm teaching them, not only are we building your brand, but this is now
Mm-hmm.
a business. But then they're also going to
Mm-hmm.
school. Then they also want to
Mm-hmm.
have their own personal life.
Right.
So there is a lot that goes into it, but ultimately I am paying it forward and styling them. In a lot of cases, I'm helping with their social media. I'm helping with
Mm-hmm.
introductions, and we have some huge, huge partnerships and announcements coming up for my guys. I have about potentially 200, but I know I can't handle that many because that'd be 200 new clients. I have about 75, but there's a smaller group that I really do a lot of hand holding with that I talk to on a very almost daily basis. And
Mm-hmm.
I really genuinely care about these people, and whether they're playing in the league or they, become a doctor. One guy is going to school to be, a physical therapist, whatever it is. I just want to support them
Mm-hmm.
and help them go after their dreams. And if I had been in college and I had this opportunity to work with brands and monetize, I would want somebody to help me as well.
Mm. Yeah, that's a great point, because a lot of times people, they may not have any idea what's involved. And
Mm-hmm.
since you're out here and you see it from your perspective, then that has to be a big help for them.
A lot of them, some
Yeah.
of them have, somebody in their family is helping manage it. I do have a
Mm-hmm.
very good friend from college who's helping manage some of the guys I'm working with closely, and
Mm-hmm.
he does marketing full time. I also have a lot of, what we're seeing is these big corporations, they have a lot of their marketing dollars a year prior. So it's
Mm-hmm.
the smaller businesses, the entrepreneurs, which I have so many clients who are entrepreneurs that are,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I'd absolutely love to sponsor this person for a public appearance, or maybe they could come to this charity event, or
Mm-hmm.
can we do this in collaboration with another brand? So it's really fun to watch all the puzzle pieces come together. My in with them is fashion. My favorite brand it's DRT, Lifestyle Brands Incorporated. It's a brand that's Dallas based. The two
Mm-hmm.
owners, Paula and Brian Brunson, are ex-professional athletes. So this brand is going to be the next Lululemon, Nike, Adidas, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody knows about it yet. And so all my athletes, NIL, professional, all my clients want this brand, and it's
Mm-hmm.
incredible. So I'm able to help discover brands in this process, help build up brands in this process, but ultimately take care of these athletes so that they can focus on school and they can focus
Mm-hmm.
on football, and they can also have money coming into their checking account and learning what it's like to be a businessman.
Right. And it's the earlier that you can start that process, the better, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because after the fact, it might be a little bit challenging when so many people at that point may be, trying to get to them and offer them things that perhaps aren't always in their best interest. So,
Oh, well, that's what I tell
yeah.
them. I say, there is a reason why Rob Gronkowski and guys like LeBron James don't have to spend the money that they make off of the sport, because they take care of the brands. And they are very authentic. They do not say yes to every brand. And they're also realizing, so I was named top 10 most influential women on Instagram 2021 by Yahoo and Yahoo Finance. They're realizing very quickly being an influencer and having to post and all this stuff is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's not just 2 clicks and then, your bank account blows up. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So I'm doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with that, but it's very rewarding for me because the guys that I'm helping genuinely are going to be such amazing role models, and they're giving back and they're doing their part. And so if this is what I can do to help them now, I'm more than happy to do it.
And that's great. And it's great you point that out as far as, what the work is involved for those who are listening and may feel that, oh, that sounds like something I might want to do, or they hear so much about influencers, but don't realize the work that's involved in it. So.
Yes, I have so many good friends that are bloggers and they do an amazing job. It is a full-time job. Every single thing is. every single thing. And like every day is blocked out. It is a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
But just like any other profession, if you love what you do, then it's rewarding. But yes, it is a lot of work. But I do have a good support system with that as well.
So is there any book or podcast or resource that you would recommend to the listeners?
Yes, my favorite book. So we just had a second one come out. It's by Cute, K-U-T-E. I say cute, but it's Cute Blackson. It's called You Are the One. So back in January, I've had over the last 8.5 months, I've had 7 procedures on my neck under anesthesia, and I've had pain for most of my life, but it got bad over the last about 7-8 years. Between the procedure starting to work, and reading that book, and then being forced to quarantine, after being exposed to COVID, I was very lucky, very fortunate. After that 14-day quarantine, I kid you not, that book, I read it every night before I went to bed. It was so moving. I had the most beautiful dreams. And after those 14 days, it was like a fire was lit under me, and I did not want to live in my bed for one more day, because you wouldn't recognize me 2 or 3 years ago. I was living in bed. I had so much pain. Every day I woke up with a migraine and I couldn't function. And so now it's like, I don't want to waste a second. And that book really helped me. And then he has a second book that just came out called The Power of Surrender, or actually it's The Magic of Surrender. But he is an incredible public speaker, writer, just amazing. So that is my favorite book. You Are the One.
Well, that's a fantastic recommendation for you to share. So I definitely think that people need to have these positive things to help them, and through tough times, and just trying to move through everything that we've been going through. So that sounds like that was such a wonderful motivation for you. So I'm really appreciate you sharing that with everyone. So Laura, this has been such a great conversation, and
thank you for
there's
having
so
me.
much great information you're sharing with us about the behind the scenes, and also about how you built your business. So before we finish, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share?
My biggest thing I would say to anybody listening to this is never ever give up on the beauty of your dreams. And it's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. And no matter what anybody says to you, nobody that is doing more than you is ever going to be critical of you. But find your support system, lift them up, they will lift you up. And also just listen to your heart. If something doesn't feel right, there's a reason why you have that gut feeling. And also visualize. So I'll claim something as mine. I'll claim something as mine because I truly believe that we are so powerful. Just like if I wake up tomorrow and I say, it's going to be a horrible day. Well, guess what? It's going to be a horrible day. If I'm going to wake up tomorrow, I'm going to say, it's going to be a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. So I really think that it all goes back to our mindset and coming from a place of gratitude, but believing in yourself, no matter what that looks like for you. Even if you feel like nobody in your life really understands what your dreams are, just never giving up on them.
Well, that is wonderful advice for everyone. And I am so glad that you shared that with us, Lauren. I want to thank you again for joining me. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
So everyone, I know you enjoyed the show. Please make sure you share this on social media, share it with your friends, and definitely check out what Laura has going on in her behind the scenes videos and things, and really enjoy fashion, and with the fall coming up soon, it'd be a lot of opportunity to get into some new things. So I hope that you will do that and have a great time that I think we could all use at this point. Once again, it's been Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.